in the beginning. Before the church, before the law, before the fall. Before everything there was God. Our identity, our story, even our purpose. Everything has to start somewhere. And in the beginning, God.
So he creates Adam and he puts him in the garden that he has created in this perfect world, and he puts him to work, right? You know, gives him a list of things to do, and we'll come to that.
It shows us work is good.
Oh yeah, work is not just good. It's well, it speaks to purpose.
Yes.
You know, and you know, God created us he created us for a purpose, on purpose, but also for a purpose. Part of our nature is to be doing things intentionally. What is that? That's purpose. You know, part of what it means to be God is to be God on purpose, right? I mean, he does things on purpose. But I think he wants Adam to realize clearly that something is missing. And that's why I think he allows him to live a while. He comes to this point in verse 18 of chapter 2, and it says, "And the Lord God said, it is not good that man should be alone. I will make him a helper comparable to him." And so he does almost the same thing with the woman that he did with the man. He gets down on his knees and he molds and fashions and crafts her, you know, in the same fashion, took exactly the same care, took exactly, you know, the same time, if you will, you know, breathed life into her just as he did Adam. And then again, in distinction to all the other creation, everything else that he molded and fashioned, you know, molded and shaped, he breathes life into Eve. If the God who has that kind of power and authority, because he has the power to create, but he also has the authority to do it because he just spoke and it happened. If he molded and shaped and breathed life into these two, does that not communicate that they are valuable? They are more valuable than anything else in creation. Nothing else got that attention. Nothing else got that care. Nothing else had the ability even to communicate with God. Nothing else had the ability to walk with God. Nothing else had the ability to follow God's instructions in the same way. Nothing else was given the mandate to govern. This tells us so much, these first few chapters, about the value of human life. We've got a little four-legged critter that walks around in our house and thinks she's, you know, a human. But here's the reality. She's not. You know, I know we get attached to our animals. I know we get attached to, you know, our pets. But when it comes to value, you know, we've kind of misplaced that a little bit. You know, I mean, in some places and in some, some of our modern Western worlds, it has become a greater crime to do something harmful to a dog or a cat than it is to a child. That stands in stark opposition to the heart of God. What it means to be in the image of God is there's a relational nature to it. We were created for relationship, created to walk in relationship with God. Part of what we get a glimpse of in chapter 1, when he says, let us make man in our image, is that relational nature of God himself. You know, that's part of the reflection of the image of God that we see, you know, that is seen in humans. We also have we have been given authority. Nobody else, no other creation has authority. So part of the image of God is the authority that we have been granted. Part of the image of God is, and we'll get to this, you know, unfortunately in the next chapter, is the ability to choose.
The beginning matters. Knowing who God is and what he's done, knowing where we come from, helps us understand where he is leading us.